Yeah, I know what you guys are thinking. You probably thought I was going to review this game because of all the controversy. No, I was actually waiting till the game got more patched up. So that's why. Did the patches work for me? Did I enjoy my experience with the game? Only one way to find out. Let's talk about it. Hey guys, what is up? This is Matthew Davis, me once again. Welcome back to another video game review. This time it is going to be on the controversial and very divisive Cyberpunk 2077. Now this was one of 2020's most anticipated games and was delayed over and over and over, and it was announced for years, like 7 years, and it finally got released in December of last year. But apparently that wasn't such a good idea, as it ended up performing terribly on PS4 and Xbox One consoles, as there were tons of bugs and glitches throughout the entire game that it pretty much ruined people's experience on consoles. It pretty much instantly became a meme when it launched. Though it was pretty well received on PC, it still suffered a lot of issues. This resulted in major controversy, and CD Projekt Red had to issue refunds, and it was pulled from the PlayStation Store. I'm not sure if it still is, because I didn't buy the game digitally, so I don't know. It probably still is, but whatever. CD Projekt Red tried to apologize, but there were times when they were fixing the game, they kind of made things a little bit worse. But we're now in May, and they put in more patches in the game, and they did announce free DLC in the future, so we'll see how that turns out. Now, yes, I bought the game at full price, but I waited a month to purchase it, and I waited another month to play it. And to top it off, I heard it was much improved playing on the PlayStation 5 in terms of console performance, and that's exactly what I did. But before I get into more of the game's performance, let me talk about what the story is to the game first. This game follows V, male or female depending on which character you want to customize and play as throughout your experience, who goes into the world of Night City, and you're going after a one-of-a-kind implant that is the key to immortality. You can customize your character's cyberware, skill set, and playstyle and explore a vast city where the choices you make shape the story and the world around you. Now, like I mentioned before, I played on PS5. I had to go to the graphics settings and changed up a few things to make my experience much better. And that's to turn off the film grain, chromatic aberration, and the motion blur. Needless to say, it helped a lot. I spent around 35 hours playing the main game, including doing a lot of side missions and doing other quests that were there just so I could grind. Now look, I want to make one thing perfectly clear, okay? This is how I experienced the game. People still might be having trouble with the game. A lot of things still haven't been fixed yet, but this is just going to be my thoughts in terms of how the performance for me went, and much progress I was able to make. Well, I gotta say, it really does help if you have a PS5, as I rarely encountered any texture pop-ins, and the game ran nicely for me at 60 FPS. And I am not joking when I say that. Yes, I still ran into bugs. Like sometimes when I'm sitting down in a car, V's arms are always up in a weird way, like they're lying down on a table or something when they're really not. Like especially when talking to people, like sometimes when I just move around, his arms will just be stuck there. But that only happened to me during the first few hours of my run. There were times when I took a break for a month, so it was probably patched up by the time I went back to the game a month later. Also, sometimes when characters talk, other characters talk at the same time, and I can't fully understand what they're saying sometimes, but there never was a part of the game where it glitched so bad that I couldn't make any progress like most people ran into while playing on last-gen consoles. So yeah, I think it's much better if you play on PS5, as there is a difference. Now anyways, despite the lack of running well on last-gen consoles, how's everything else exactly? Honestly, everything else is super solid. I really enjoyed the story of V and all the other characters you interact with, like Judy and Panam, Jackie, even though he dies during the beginning of the game, spoiler alert. But it's been a few months, so people should already know what happened in the game if they didn't want to play the game and just wanted to see what happens. All these characters have tons of different side stories that I wanted to complete before continuing the main story, like the main quests. I really enjoyed making relationships with each of these characters, despite this game being much shorter than The Witcher 3. I still think the game had quite a bit to offer when it came to the story. Easily the show stealer was, of course, Keanu Reeves, as Johnny Silverhand, who's implanted in your brain and is with you throughout your adventure. He easily gives one of the best celebrity performances in a video game I've seen in quite a while. And the combat for me was pretty solid too. Despite being in a first-person perspective, which did gain controversy first time it was announced, but that was before all this happened. So it wasn't much of an issue later on as people were expecting it. I had a solid time with the combat, and even the melee was pretty fun too, though it was a little clunky for me sometimes. It's a lot more fun if you gun down enemies. Though sometimes when it came to cutscenes, there are some parts where I wish they could have done things more cinematic-like in a third-person-ish vibe, so you could see your entire character doing something in a different view, but that's just a minor thing I complained about. Sure, games like Half-Life didn't have that, but Half-Life really didn't need anything like that. For me, CD Projekt Red really got the story right, the characters right, the gameplay right. If the performance on other consoles worked as well as the PS5 upscale did, there wouldn't be as much to complain about. Even when Witcher 3 launched, it had a bit of bugs and glitches, but it still worked for a lot of people, and it's already considered one of the best games ever made, which I agree with. Now, one thing I will say about playing on PS5 is that it does crash a lot. Usually it happened to me every 4 or 5 hours of playing, though I always made sure to save, and it does have a good autosave feature, so I didn't lose a whole lot of progress as it crashed for me. So yeah, after 5 months, the game still isn't perfect. I have no clue if it's still bad on the PS4 and Xbox One, probably still is, but I recommend playing it on PS5. The experience is much better, the world of Night City looks fantastic when playing on the system, and there definitely aren't as many bugs or glitches as the last-gen systems. So in the end, I personally enjoyed my time playing it. The characters, the story, they're all phenomenal, and I feel like CD Projekt Red didn't need to fix much about that. It still has a few bugs on my end. It crashed quite a bit for me, and sometimes the colors and textures did flash a bit on my part, but none of the characters looked like this at all in my playthrough. So, if you're going to play it on consoles, get a PS5, because I think that's the only way you're going to get the best out of playing this on a TV screen. But, of course, it's also available on PC too, and that's the best reviewed version of the game on Metacritic. So, yeah, overall, I still think the game has potential of getting better over time. I really hope so, because I don't want CD Projekt Red doing shit like this ever again. Please, don't do this again. Pretty please. Please. Now, a lot of people aren't going to agree with my score on this, but for my experience, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. I'm not sure how my experience would have been back then if I played it earlier. It could have been, like, I don't know, a 3 or something. Like, I would still be playing it on PS5, but when I was playing it, most of it worked for me, so that's why I'm giving it this score. Some work still needs to be done on it, but I do feel like it has potential of getting better after a few months. If you're still not going to play it, then that's fine, don't listen to me, but I can't lie of how I felt after playing it. It's certainly not CD Projekt Red's masterpiece, but I still think it can be fixed. We might not know when. Hopefully it might be worth it once all of this is taken care of, but in the meantime, just I don't know, just I don't really know what to say, because I haven't played the PS4 version, but or the PC or the Xbox One version, because I'm still a small YouTuber. I can't do everything when it comes to modern gaming, but whatever. But yeah, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys have a happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all. We're celebrating Mother's Day over here, obviously. Have some stuff planned. I'm probably going to make breakfast for my mom. But hope you guys have a great Mother's Day as well. I'm playing Resident Evil Village. Cannot wait to talk about that game. I'll talk about the game when, of course, I've beaten the game. But yeah. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Word out.